Assembly. The Law Society of Kenya had challenged President William Ruto's nominees list, stating that it did not factor in regional balance and that the gender factor had also not been considered. While certifying the case lodged by the LSK as urgent, Justice Nzioki Makau said the interviews should cease until further directions are issued. As Chemutai Goin, however, now reports in Parliament, it was business as usual, as the various committee heads stated that they were yet to be served.
After the Law Society of Kenya moved to court to challenge the PS's list on grounds that it failed the regional and gender balance test, and even after the court barred Parliament from proceeding with the scheduled interviews for the nominees, which kicked off Monday, the committees lined up for Tuesday's session went on without a hitch, as Parliament maintained that it was yet to be served.
I'll be faithful in service.
Appearing before the Defence and Foreign Relations Committee, Defence PS nominee Patrick Mariro was forced to defend Kenya's move to deploy its troops to the DRC, despite the huge financial implication on the taxpayer, who will cough over 4 billion shillings. Yet, it was not clear what Kenya's interest in the DRC was, since it does not share a border with a war-torn nation.
Our investment in DRC, in terms of the officers we are sending, that must be seen within the context of Kenya's contribution to stabilize our region. Why stabilize our region? If DRC is aiding, Kenya will be aiding. That is as brief as that. If DRC is aiding, Kenya is aiding.
The reason why we are invested, or the Kenya government is invested in the peace in Ethiopia, DRC, is because we want to expand our market. And so when we expand our market, it will open opportunity for our young people to be able to work directly in those countries.
The committee, which also vetted Foreign Affairs PS nominee Dr. Korir Sing'oei, sought to know whether the Fifth Administration was reviewing its foreign policy to target the West.
Progressively from Kibaki, we've had most dealings, especially financing, and most projects being done by the Chinese. And Uhuru regime continued with the same Chinese. But lately we've seen as if the Kenya Kwanza administration is warming up to the West.
If you see, for example, focus on certain relationships, it's not because there is a change of policy, but rather it's informed by the macroeconomic situation, and more fundamentally, it's informed by our debt situation that we are trying to come to terms with.
The newly created Diaspora Affairs docket nominee Roslyn Jogu was questioned on how she intended to help resolve the migrant workers' issues, especially those working in the Middle East.
Heard about contract switching, where you sign a contract here in English and you go to the other side and you're given a contract in Arabic, which of course you do not read. So what are some of the things that we're asking is that the contracts be in both languages, that the contract is attested to by the Kenyan mission in that country, it's attested to here by the Labour Ministry, that the State Department issues an exit visa, and we basically confirm that there are vacancies where we say that there are, that so-and-so, that Maria.
The Blue Economy and Irrigation Committee also vetted 3 PS nominees, Betsy Njagi, Gitonga Mugambi, and Dr. Paul Rono. These as Alfred Kobundo, Abubakar Hassan, Patrick Kilemi, and Juma Muhwana also faced the Trade Committee, where they pledged to put in place strategies to uplift trade with focus on micro, small and medium enterprises. With the vetting of the Principal Secretaries expected to roll out to day 3 on Wednesday, a cloud of uncertainty hangs on the process after the court issues orders injuncting the process until a case that has been filed is heard and determined. Whether Parliament will heed to the directive of the judiciary only remains to be seen. Chemutai Goin, Citizen TV, at Parliament Buildings.